Hello and welcome to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Nina Adio, a social media marketing expert specific to the wedding industry. On this show, I discuss tips to help you DIY your social media, as well as getting the confidence and income to outsource it. Thank you for allowing this episode to come through on your Bluetooth, your car radio, wherever it may be you're listening from today. Now, let's take your wedding business to the next level. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the I Do Wedding Marketing Podcast. I'm so glad to have you here today. This is episode 42 of the podcast, but it is day 9 of doing 30 days of daily episodes. So I'll be posting every day until September 14th. So I hope you will stick around for all of those. Yesterday, we spoke about doing Instagram reels that don't have to show your face. So that is always handy to have in your back pocket. But today, what I wanted to talk about was a topic I saw on my feed, a question posed, and it was, does social media affect your self worth? And the answer, of course, will be different depending on who you ask. But what I really wanted to explore and talk about is steps that I take to prevent social media from damaging my self worth. Because I will tell you right now, it is very, very hard to be on social media all day and not have it affect you mentally, emotionally, and so forth. Honestly, it even affects me physically. My fingers hurt from the amount of time I am working on my phone for social media. But that's another topic for another day. In order to prevent, for me at least, social media from affecting how I was feeling about myself, is I had to observe when it was triggering me, and that wouldn't always be immediate. It's not always immediate. I'm not always going, I looked at this and now I feel bad. Sometimes I'm noticing I'm feeling bad and I have to stop and go, what did this? What made me feel this way? And kind of give a deeper dive and assessment on it. And what I noticed was that for me, I'm a social media marketer for wedding professionals. So seeing other wedding professionals wouldn't bother me or affect my self esteem. But when I would see other social media marketers specifically working in the wedding industry, that would affect my mood. Now, let me tell you, I love the other people in this industry. I want to support them, and that's why I follow them. But I do have to sometimes mute them from my feed and go in on my own when I'm feeling in a good place to give that support because it was affecting me. So I still fully believe in what we call in the wedding industry community over competition. We're all in this together. But if supporting your community is affecting your self worth, then you have to do it on your terms. I would never want somebody to like a post of mine if it was compromising how they were feeling. And the same is going to go for somebody else in you. So don't sacrifice yourself to support somebody else. Support somebody else when it's coming from a place of purity and joy and excitement for that person. Don't push it, don't force it. Now, let me talk to you about that mute button, okay? On Instagram, it's called mute. On Facebook, they call it hiding, hide this person from my feed. Whatever it is, don't be afraid to use it. Don't be afraid to use it. So I have had to use it for personal reasons. Maybe it was, someone in the family, they're competitive, they don't feel good for you, or an old friend who's like that, whatever it is. If it's not making you feel good when this person comes on your feed, but you still want to be their friend and you don't want to complicate the relationship by unfollowing or defriending, I just mute them from my feed and it works wonders. In some cases on Instagram, you're able to hide them just from coming up on your still feed, and you can still see them in stories, so you can support them that way. Whatever it is that is going to make you feel better. All right. If somebody coming on your feed doesn't make you feel good, you don't need to keep them on your feed. Eliminating people like that from my feed is a way that I protect myself from feeling worse and worse when I'm on social media, because that is a big trigger point for me. If I'm not in a good place with somebody and they keep coming up on my feed, I'm going to go kooky. So that is a tool I'd like to use. But you also want to think about what posts that you do make you feel good about yourself. Are you doing posts just because you're supposed to and they're not making you feel good after you post them? Are you getting these negative feelings of self worth because you're analyzing likes? That is something to think about too. So we know on Instagram that you can hide the amount of likes from other people seeing it. But what do you do when it's you who is analyzing those likes and getting upset over them? So I have a sister who also has a social media brand, and I am telling her all the time, you cannot let your profile identify you, because she will feel it if she has a post that didn't get as many of the others. And her profile's not like mine. She's got a more viral profile. Well, let's say one gets 500, but the next post only gets 300. She's going to be devastated. And I have to tell her, you cannot let this define you. Every post you make is not who you are. You have to post based on what makes you feel good. And if you stand by that post, then stand by that post. Maybe it will get a second win later. Share it to your stories later. Let people see it. Give it its best chance, but don't let it define who you are. And in order to do that, you have to tap into why you are posting in the first place. So for me, let's say on a vendor's page, I am posting because I want all the couples in that area to know that this resource is available to them. I want them to know the greatest potential of their wedding day. I want them to know there's a place nearby that's gorgeous, luxurious, beautiful. I want them to know that if they're struggling to afford it, that maybe they can look into our winter packages. I want them to know our whole story. But really, what I'm looking to do is spread that possibility and joy to others. So even if the post didn't go viral, I'm still in touch with that message. I still put out there something great that is offered to others. And how can you feel bad about that, right? So think about why you're posting what you're posting rather than getting married to the result before it even has a chance to go. We really get caught up in the instant gratification of social media. And let me tell you, it is amazing when a post takes off. It is the best feeling ever. But it doesn't always happen that way, and that's okay. I'm going to tell you one of the tricks that I've done so I do not get wrapped up in this, and it's that I schedule my posts to go live before I wake up. So this way, I am not even analyzing these posts yet. I don't have the opportunity to watch it go live and go nuts. Now there's some theories on this. Some people really like to be awake and up before a post goes live because they like to engage on Instagram or Facebook, etc., before the post goes live. You still have that choice and that opportunity, and that's the benefit to it. So I want to make sure I make that clear. But for me, I find it so much better to have those posts be born while I am asleep and in my happy place. So for me, I'll have them post between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. typically. I sleep late. We sleep late in my house. So those posts will go live while I'm in my happy place. And then I get to wake up to all of like the nice likes that we got and comments and shares and so forth. So that's been a tactic that's really helped not to interfere with my self worth on social media. I also like to throw in what I call some motivators onto my feed. So I will follow accounts that have affirmations, positive thoughts, motivational quotes, and so forth sprinkled throughout my feed, or making sure I'm following at least five of those accounts. So this way, as I'm doing my daily scroll, I will get hit with those positivity boosts, and it will remind me to stay in check and not to let social media define me. Now, it's easier said than done, not letting social media affect your self worth. And there are some times when I'm not able to problem solve it on my own. And what I will do is I will confide in a coach or a friend. I typically always have one coach or coaching program that I am enrolled in. And at the same time, I have a friend where we have what we call our own weekly mastermind, where we do about an hour and a half Zoom call together, and we talk about our week, we talk about our wins, our struggles, and so forth, and we kind of hash it all out. So last week, we had this whole fictional money story in my mind based on like an old long lost cousin I don't even talk to. It was funny on the surface that that's what was holding me back, but it was something we hashed out together, and it was really really helpful to do. So if you don't have a coach, I would either, maybe you're aligned with somebody who you want to do some coaching with. I actually do offer coaching. It's not one of my primary services, but I have had people reach out. So if that's something you're interested in, you can send me a message, or you can hook up with a friend to do these weekly check-ins. And it has been one of the highlights of my week and greatest aspects of my work life, especially for me since I work from home. So having these weekly check-ins with my friend has been amazing. I'd like to take a second to remind you that the I Do Wedding Marketing podcast is brought to you by the Weddingpreneurs Content Club. This content club is where you can sign up and receive social media directives, templates, and tips directly to your inbox each month. So, an example of this is that you're going to be receiving 30 social media post templates a month with captions, 15 story templates, 8 reels and TikTok scripts, audios, and captions, 2 pre-written blog articles, 2 pre-written email newsletters, and that's all coming to you monthly. You can get that for as low as $37 a month, but if you join for the quarterly membership or the annual membership, you are going to get free access to the Engage to Engagement in 10 minutes a day workshop that is being brought to you by myself and Carissa Cruzy Weddings. So be sure to stay tuned to this podcast each day to hear more about that workshop. But if you would like to learn more about the Weddingpreneurs Content Club and get this workshop, I mean, that's really going to be the home run, because you're going to have access to myself and Carissa, plus all of this social media content. So you can visit idoweddingmarketing.com/sponsors, or you can go to the show notes to click the link to get access. I hope these tips were helpful to get you on track towards feeling good when you are doing your social media scroll. If this is something you would like to take a deeper dive into, send me a message at I Do Wedding Marketing on Instagram. That is where I am hanging out the most and would love to engage in some conversation with you. You also can find me on LinkedIn at Nina Adio, or my company page on there at I Do Wedding Marketing. I am presently part of the Bookmore Wedding Summit, which is going live through August 25th. So if you would like to get your ticket to that, I will have it linked in the show notes as well as on my Instagram profile. If you got any value from this episode, I would love if you would leave me a review. You can leave a review on Apple Podcast and I believe Spotify now. So I can't wait to hear what you think of the show. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode, and I'll see you then.